Hello, good evening. I'm digging. This is the vibe. Glad you found me. Um, okay, so what I want to talk about today is, and don't, you can almost expect it. You can write a list, and I'm pretty sure I hit each and every one, meaning I could be your 100th video on the same subject. But all the same, I have one thing that I know is valuable, and that is the truth. And that comes in many different fashions and at the most weirdest of times or time frames. Voila, you turn around and you find yourself. The truth is right there. So there's been this thing that's been really bothering me. Um, Not, I guess, bothering me in the sense where it kind of makes my skin crawl, just irritates me. And the reason it irritates me is because it limits somebody's thought process. It creates limits that shouldn't be created. And before you guys go and say anything and say, oh my goodness, you're a believer, I'm going to say it first. Oh my goodness, you're not a believer. And even though you might not be, just tear it out. If anything else, it's amusing. I'm amusing, if anything else. Give me an A for effort. Instead of an E for effort. Okay. Getting back to reality here. Okay, I want to talk about aliens, and I really do want to talk about aliens. And I don't know how many videos I'm going to make about aliens, but I am going to say something that is really unique. And if we were playing ball, I would say it was a fastball, but it definitely had a curve on that baby. There's only some certain things that one could know, and there's other things that one knows, and you know that the only way they could know is the same way you know. If that makes any sense. So if I had to direct any of the knowledge and experiences I'm going to share with you, if I had to direct it down a road, inadvertently, let's just say I would really love to have a sit down with George from coast to coast, and I would like to tell him, now he's going to think about it for a few seconds, so maybe I will make another video and see if the word goes out and we get anywhere on this. I would like to tell him, I would like to say, hi, I'm the grandmother, not the mother, but godmother, not even grandmother, not mother or grandmother, godmother. That sounds more appropriate. I'm the godmother of patty cake. I know it sounds a little weird. I know, I get it. And patty cake. But does patty cake have anything to do with aliens? Well, I think that he clearly understands because of a guest that he had on, and unbeknownst to myself, somebody else that I have shared this story for, I don't know, we'll say 26 years. And it sounds pretty crazy when someone's telling you these stories that sound way out there. You want to support the person, but you're also going, yeah, you might really have some psychological issues. But even there, I was able to manifest, and the person was jumping up and down on a porch going, oh my goodness, it's real. Okay, now that very same individual had said that while they were out on the road, they came across coast to coast, and they were listening to George. When all of a suddenly, somebody said, If I didn't, or I think it was George, if I didn't know any better, I would think they were playing patty cake. So that is a whole other video altogether. Um, um, uh, and that was my very that I remember, um, my very first encounter. So when it came up, I my mouth dropped, and because the first thing I said was, all these years that you probably thought, okay, lady, ta-da, now you know I don't lie. Ta-da, now you know. I know I sound crazy, but this shit's real. Yep, I said it. Yep, poop. you know, and it is. So this information has something to do with the information where I had said it. People limit their brains. They limit their minds by saying, I only believe in this and I only believe in that. Now, there are professionals out there that really like to play on this. And they do. I watch it all the time. I mean, I get it. I've learned, it's pretty interesting. But it boils down to it's always money, it's always the scratch, it's always the business, and this here is really just to introduce you to, because eventually one day it'll be. And you'll be glad someone, took the time out to share it. I mean, even if you just listen to it for 10 seconds and go, change that channel, that's still okay. That's still 10 seconds. That's somewhere, somewhere forward in time, you'll have that proof in the pudding. And hopefully it'll make a difference in your life during that experience. Okay, so I keep hearing that aliens are demons. Okay, I get it, but demons are demons, and they're demons. Okay, an alien is not a demon. An alien is another creation. A demon pretty much just put it on themselves. That's what I can say about that. And what a demon told me once, because I said, hey, you can't do that. I know the universal law, and you're not allowed to do that. And I said, how would you know this information? And he said, we know everything you do, except we only know so much. We're limited, but in general we know what you know, and so they play on that. And I thought, interesting, right? Because even a jinn is not a demon unless a jinn turns into a demon. Demons are demons. Okay, and there's some people, and I do believe that the spirits of the Nephilim turned into demons. Yep, I believe that. Or when Lucy came down here and his crew came with him, upon their transferring, they became demons. I believe that as well. But aliens to be demons is incorrect. That information is not correct. Now, don't get me wrong, okay? Because somewhere in the past videos, I did chuckle. I had a little bit of a laugh because I know what it sounds like. But I made the claim, I grew up watching Star Trek. I did have the, one channel, then the 2 channel, and the ears, tinfoil on the ears for the TV. The good old days, right? So, okay, looking at that as a whole, because I lost my train of thought here for half a second. Um, uh, and I kind of lost myself in My Favorite Martian. That was a good show. Um, I guess I guess what I'm trying to say is that I am a 60s, I can't even say kickback. I was a throw forward. Yeah. And so my mind is always on. My spirit is always on. Okay, that's what it was. I was talking about don't let somebody convince you of demons. That's what it was. And I had a couple of particular people. I've got a beautiful river here, and sometimes I get lost in it when I start really watching the waves. It's really quite beautiful. I was really blessed. I asked for this apartment suite because I live way north. And I thought, I really need my trees. I just don't do cement very well. So I'm encumbered, cocooned by trees, and the river is right there. And it's just so beautiful, you know. So, what a beautiful blessing. Okay, now those aliens that I was talking about, okay, and growing up Star Trekky, okay, I did mention Klingons. I realize I mentioned Klingons, and I said Klingons because they really are. Okay, I know. Okay, like I know. And those are the guys that are, I know was it almost 500 something, 400 and some odd. But, the more I learn, and I'm like, wow, these guys are way behind. Like, they're still fighting that first war that universally everybody went, okay, you know what, we can totally wipe each other off the face of the earth. There's enough for all of us. Why don't we just, for the better good of all of us, come to an unspoken truce, and that did it. So, but even those Klingons, okay, they are not demons, and these guys are pretty brutal. I mean, they really are. They're like, it's kind of like the guy from Star Trek, and add a lot of muscle mass and stink dirtier. Looks like a Klingon, but really dirty. A Klingon and Captain Hook put together, if you can imagine that. Okay? And these guys are way out there. And when they do come around, everybody's getting, everybody is pretty much prepared to gather together because, they're gonna come with the thought process that this war is still happening. So the onslaught on their behalf, so we have to be prepared. And I do know universally that the different planets and different beings on different planets, there is a preparedness there as well. Now, I know that a lot of churches are teaching that they're demons. There's a lot of people writing books that teaches that they're demons. But like I said, that information is completely wrong. A bird is a bird is a bird. A cat is a cat is a cat. A cat can never be a bird. And a bird can never be a cat, despite the Sphinx, despite the fact that Griffin was created, the cat with wings. It can't be. That's just, that would be a being, another being, working with two different types of genetics in order to experiment and create beings. Let's see what we can create, and who we can create is science. You go to a different planet, you're going to bound to explore. I don't see anything woo 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 about it. They came here. It is luscious. It is full of life. Why wouldn't they be curious and see what mixes with what makes this place tick? I mean, at some point they had to sit down and map it out. they created time as well, you know, and the reason they did that was because of how much quicker this earth spins. Yes. So that time was also an indication for their wear and tear, because what ended up happening is the longer they spent on Earth and and you know lived with the rotation, their life became shorter, which leads to an understanding that, okay, wait a second, so if we were possibly there and living under those conditions and doing what they're doing, we would have a longevity. And their planet spins slower. So it kind of makes sense. I could see the balance there. Okay, so what I'm getting at here, before I go and mention a couple of more, people say they're demons, they are fallen, they're not the children of God, they need to be rebuked, all of this, like, just, and I say, I really think everybody's missing something that Jesus said. I don't want to be a bummer or anything, but he said, and correct me if I'm wrong, and don't use little words like it, the, and. No, don't do that. Zero for grammar. Okay, so he said, there are many mansions in my Father's house. Now, I believe it was like this because I thought, imagine all the rooms in a mansion. So if there were many mansions in our Father's house, wow, how many doors would that be? Like, that is a number where, do you ever reach a number? Do you ever reach that number? Do you ever reach that number? Well, I do believe that, but I believe reaching that number is a soul thing. Otherwise, did he not say this? Yeah, he did. And there's a reason he said this. So maybe before we call everybody a demon, we go back and go, what did Jesus say? What did he say? He said, there are many mansions in my Father's house. Yes, he did. That's exactly what he got at. And that's exactly what he said. Maybe not word per word. Like I said, don't do the ands, ifs, buts, and its and don'ts. It's what he said. So when we look at the possibility that there might be other beings that we call aliens out there, stop to think, if you're into scripture, or you're into God, or you're into Christ, you're into Jesus, don't believe me, check it out. He did happen to mention that, Okay, this is going to be too long. I'm going to say, I hope you like it. I have to make another video about this because I'm still going. Share it, because the more understanding we grow to accept and expand, the better for all of us. And we'll hold hands a lot sooner than anybody anticipates. That's really kind of corny, but I really meant that. Okay, so I bid you an adieu, and ciao, amore. Ciao, ciao.